What's up, everybody? This is your boy Timothy Apollo. Like, subscribe, share. So today, people, let's talk about toxic femininity. Okay? We never talk about toxic femininity because we're always worried about toxic masculinity. Seriously, toxic femininity, like, it almost don't even sound right for you to hear it because we talk so little about it. But speaking of toxic femininity, we're going to utilize Jada Pinkett Smith, for example. Okay? She is a prime example of toxic femininity. You know, she's destroying her husband. It's been said that she's hard to work with in Hollywood. Quite recently, we had the situation with, the Chris Rock smack. Okay, and I hate to call it that, but, just to get in detail, that's the best way to phrase it. Now, I'm going to let you guys know this. This isn't, and let me reiterate, this isn't to bash a woman or women. It seems to me to when we're speaking directly about women, especially women in our group, people tend to think you're bashing. Listen here, people. We never say that when we're discussing topics about men, black men, okay? Seriously. When we're talking about black men in detail, you never hear the men say, well, stop bashing black men, or, oh, you're bashing. But we never hear that, okay? So keep in mind, this is just the other side of the coin. Now, I've been hearing a lot of talk about Jada Pinkett Smith has been wanting to reconcile with Chris Rock. I've been hearing a lot of talk about, they just need to meet up and talk. Talk for what? Why? Seriously, like, it seems to me that if you gave a damn in the first place, you wouldn't have let your husband go up there and do what he did. I mean, think about it real good. And that relationship, we know how toxic that relationship is. But the toxicity isn't coming from the man. It's coming from the woman. And I feel that the toxicity in that relationship is heightened because of the simple fact, and I hate to be like this, but because of the simple fact, the man has no balls in it. Seriously, think about it real good. When a man gets to lead, when a man leads the way he's supposed to, then the toxicity level, if it's the right man, is at a minimum. Seriously, is at a minimum. That's why it's so important for men to lead, the right men to lead, okay? Because there's more logic put in place most of the time. Not all, but most of the time than feelings and emotions. But when you have an emotional man with a toxic emotional woman, then, I hate to prime it on this, but people get slapped. Seriously. And now in today's society, we have a lot of toxic femininity, but we're so focused on making manhood, making real men, making traditional men be toxic masculinity, till we overlook that. Like, let me tell you guys how much toxic femininity it is in the world today, okay? Especially Hollywood. Do you guys know, I counted, okay? I counted over 7. Seriously, over 7 women in Hollywood that agreed with what Will Smith did. 7. I don't remember exactly who all they are because I didn't write them down. I remember one of them being Tiffany Haddish. I remember, up to a certain extent, Vivica A. Fox. Now, here's my thing. Even though Vivica tried to be neutral, we all know that she tried to be neutral just because she's friends with Will Smith. But here's my thing. To me, I feel like this. When you don't condone a wrong act, okay? When you don't condone or hold people accountable for what they do, then to me, you're just as wrong, especially if you got a little bit of clout, especially if you got a little bit of authority, okay? To me, you're worse than the people who committed the act because you have the power to condemn, okay? And to lower the chances of the act happening again. So to me, you're worse, you know? So that's just how much toxic femininity we have in the world. And I'm just using those few people as an example. I'm sure it's many, many more who are not celebrities who agree with it. And that's my thing. And the funniest part about it is that, to me, you had more of the women speaking up saying, well, oh, we agree with the situation. Well, we understand what Jada Pinkett Smith is going through. Then you even had men to say, wow, hey, we don't agree with like that. And to me, it's something wrong when that goes on. But again, they don't make men quite like they used to. Men are so scared to speak up nowadays because of toxic femininity, to where, hey, it's like their balls is left at home in the top drawer with the underwear. Seriously. And you have a whole movement, which, again, I'm going to reiterate, is like it's an attack on masculinity. Think about it real good. Any traditional trait we all have nowadays as men, it's considered, it's primed, it's categorized as toxic masculinity. Think about it real good, only until it's good to be utilized, only until it's good for the people that's complaining about it. Seriously. Let me tell you guys how hypocritical it is, okay, how funny it is. Nobody's calling what Will Smith did toxic masculinity. Seriously. Nobody. Think about it real good. But I guarantee you, if you ask certain people, the joke that Chris Rock did would be labeled toxic masculinity. Seriously. So the only thing I'm saying is this, people. We've got to come to a point to where we realize, to where we as men, okay, and even you all as women, step up and say, hey, that's wrong. That's not toxic masculinity. Hey, that's wrong. Hell, you don't hear it that much, but that's wrong. That's not toxic femininity. We got to step up and call these things out, because if we don't call them out, then they're just going to grow. They're just going to get bigger over time. And after a while, it's going to be a simple fact of what's right is just going to be wrong, because it's been labeled wrong for so long. Nobody's going to give a damn, And the biggest losers, okay, the biggest losers of toxic femininity, believe it or not, are going to be women. I reiterate, it's going to be women, because you're going to lose your leaders, okay? You're going to lose your real leaders, especially in the Black community. Seriously, because truth of the matter is, people, one of the very few things we have going in the Black community, which isn't in abundance, is the real men, is the leaders. There's not a whole lot of money circulating through the Black community because of a lack of a financial infrastructure, okay? There's just not. And like I say again, this only hurts, okay? This is where it's really gonna hurt the women and the children. Toxic femininity is going to destroy a lot of things about the Black community, period. Okay? It's going to hit other communities, but it's going to hit the Black community the hardest, because that's a main focal point. Okay? Period. It's focused on the men, it's focused on the young men. Seriously, it's focused on the men to be. Well, anyway, y'all, look at it. This video went a little bit longer than what I thought it would. This is your boy, Timothy Apollo. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Apollo, out.